9-year-old boy crashed a wedding with a newborn baby. What he revealed left everyone silent. The grand ballroom shimmered under golden chandeliers. White roses lined the aisles, and soft piano music floated through the air like a dream. Guests in elegant attire raised their glasses, smiling as the bride, radiant in lace and pearls, walked toward her groom, Daniel, who stood tall in his tuxedo, eyes gleaming with pride. It was supposed to be perfect. Then the doors burst open. Gasps rippled through the crowd as a small figure stepped inside. In his arms, swaddled in a thin blanket, was a newborn baby, no more than a few weeks old. The boy couldn't have been older than 9, his eyes wide but resolute, his jaw clenched like he'd rehearsed this moment 1,000 times. Silence fell like a curtain. The music stopped. The bride froze mid-step. Daniel's smile vanished. "Daniel?" the boy called out, voice trembling but clear. "You said you'd come back." The room held its breath. Daniel's face paled. He took a step forward, then stopped, as if pulled back by invisible chains. "Ethan?" he whispered. "Ethan." The name echoed through the stunned silence. No one knew who he was, except Daniel. "I waited," Ethan said, clutching the baby tighter. "Mommy waited too, but she got really sick, and now she's gone." His voice cracked. "She made me promise to bring Lily to you. She said you're her daddy." A collective gasp swept through the guests. The bride, Sophia, turned slowly toward Daniel, her eyes searching his face for denial, for explanation, but all she found was guilt. Daniel staggered backward, his hand gripping the edge of a chair for support. "Ethan, I didn't know she was pregnant," he stammered, though the words sounded hollow, even to himself. But Ethan wasn't finished. "You left us," he said, tears finally spilling over. "Mommy cried every night. She worked 2 jobs just to keep food on the table. And when she got sick, there was no one, just me." The room felt suffocating. Some guests looked away, ashamed. Others stared in disbelief. An elderly woman in the front row dabbed her eyes with a lace handkerchief. Then something unexpected happened. Sophia walked past Daniel, past the altar, past the cake, past the life she thought she was beginning, and knelt in front of Ethan. She reached out slowly, not for the baby, but for his hand. "Your mommy loved you very much," she said softly, "and you were so brave to come here today." Ethan nodded, tears streaming down his cheeks. Sophia turned to Daniel, her expression not angry, but heartbroken. "If you can walk away from your own child, then you don't deserve to stand beside me." She removed her engagement ring and placed it gently on the floor between them. Then, without another word, she walked out of the ballroom, her white dress trailing behind her like a ghost. The wedding was over, but the story wasn't. Daniel sank to his knees, sobbing, not for the wedding he'd lost, but for the son and daughter he'd abandoned. Ethan watched him, unsure whether to run or stay. But then Daniel looked up, his eyes raw with regret. "I'm so sorry, Ethan. I was selfish. I was scared, but that's no excuse." Ethan hesitated, then took a step forward. In that moment, something shifted, not just for Daniel, but for everyone watching. The grand celebration had turned into something far more sacred, a reckoning. One by one, guests rose from their seats, not to leave, but to surround Ethan and Lily. A woman offered a warm blanket for the baby. Another brought a bottle of formula she'd packed for her own grandchild. The wedding planner quietly arranged for a car to take them home. And Daniel? He stayed on the floor, holding his son for the first time, whispering promises he swore he'd keep. Later that night, as the moon cast silver light over the empty ballroom, Daniel sat on the steps outside with Ethan and Lily asleep in his arms. The wedding cake sat untouched inside. The flowers would wilt, but something new had bloomed in its place. Something fragile, honest, and real. Sometimes truth crashes into our lives like an uninvited guest, but if we're brave enough to listen, it can lead us back to who we're meant to be. Like, share, and subscribe to ACA Storytells for more stories that reveal the hidden power of truth and kindness. Your voice matters. Drop a comment below. What would you have done? Thanks for watching.